The following review will contain spoilers. Hello everybody, I'm Storm Zink. I'm here with Andrew Rolland, and we're going to do a dual Amazing Spider-Man review. I literally just walked in the house from seeing the film. I still got my Spider-Man shirt on. As you can tell, I'm sweating. It's like 120 degrees out here. Andrew, did you just get back from seeing it?
Yeah, I think it was probably took like 30 minutes, to call me back, because we're in different time zones and stuff.
Yeah, my film started. The one I was really gonna go to was the 1 o'clock show in my time, and it was 3D. I didn't want to see 3D, so I waited to 1:45. So Andrew got to see it 30 minutes before me. So I'm a little delayed on that one. We haven't even discussed it amongst ourselves yet, what we thought. So there might be arguing between us. I don't know.
Okay, so now what did I think about this movie? I thought it was the worst Spider-Man movie I've ever seen. No, I'm just kidding. I actually thought it was really good. I actually think that that as a movie, it's pretty good. And as an adaptation, I think it's better than the Sam Raimi version.
Joel from Rubber Cinema went and saw it midnight release. I was at work. I couldn't go see midnight release. I texted Joel at my lunch break. I said, "How was it, Joel?" Joel said it was okay. It wasn't better than Spider-Man 2. In my humble opinion, I think Sam Raimi should have went to see that film with a notepad, because that's how you make a fucking Spider-Man movie.
Yeah.
Now, I do have one minor problem. I think the title of the film should have been changed from The Amazing Spider-Man to The Ultimate Spider-Man.
Really?
Because that movie was damn near word for word with this Ultimate Spider-Man that I'm holding. I have read every issue of Ultimate Spider-Man. Every issue. I own them all in trade paperback form. I own them all in issue form. And just so you know, I'm not just a moron that I like Ultimate Spider-Man. I also have issue 1, Amazing Spider-Man. Okay? So, I love the film, and I love the detail they put in the film. Yes, I have problems with certain parts, but it isn't problems that make me dislike the film. It's just something they changed that was, a little different. But it wasn't something that said I hated the film. It wasn't like what they did with Spider-Man 3, Spider-Man 1, Spider-Man 2 I probably have the least problem with. Spider-Man 1 and Spider-Man 3 I have the most problems with. This movie, there's some things I've said, well, I wish they would have changed it, but I don't have a problem with it. And I love the detail they put in it. Because, when I was watching it, they showed a picture of, they have a scene in Peter's bedroom. And on his wall is a picture of a poster of Albert Einstein. And I looked at my wife, I was like, look at that shit. They even paid attention to the fucking poster he had in the comic book on the wall. And in the movie, Andrew Garfield, he's skateboarding, doing all this training and stuff, and kind of testing out his powers in this warehouse. And that's where Peter went all the time within the first 20 issues of Ultimate Spider-Man, was that warehouse.
And here was something that the Sam Raimi version, kind of did half-assed on, is that in the Sam Raimi version, in Spider-Man 1, the minute Peter got his powers, he just instantly knew how to use them. Now it was like a little too convenient. Yeah.
People might argue the fact that, well, when Peter gets bit, he's breaking the sink, he's breaking all this shit, and people are like, that's fucking ridiculous. But if you actually got powers, you wouldn't be able to control it. It would be like Goku when he went Super Saiyan. When him and Gohan went Super Saiyan, they were breaking everything in the house. You know, it isn't like the Sam Raimi film where he got bit by the spider. The next day, he had all this power, yet he can easily just control it out of nowhere. You know, so, you know, they actually made sense how they developed it. The only problem I have with the film was, again, I still have a problem with the basketball scene. Yeah. And I kind of had a problem when I first seen the football where he threw it at the goal, but when you watch the scene, I don't have that much of a problem with that scene, because when it happened, no one was paying attention. It wasn't like the basketball scene where the whole fucking gymnasium seen that.
Yeah.
You know, and I know my buddy Chris Goodman, CGA's, he's gonna point out, okay, like I said, spoiler alert, Captain Stacy's death. Okay? Because in Amazing Spider-Man, Captain Stacy is killed by Doc Ock. In this one, he's killed by the Lizard. I do not have a problem with this, and I'll tell you why. Because, one, it sets up perfectly. It went with both story arcs for the most part. Or, you know, Captain Stacy died. He says, don't let anything happen to Gwen. He said that in Amazing Spider-Man, but he got killed by Doc Ock, and this one he gets killed by the Lizard. But in Ultimate Spider-Man, he just gets killed by a thug. He just gets killed by a thug. I believe the thug is dressed like Spider-Man. So at first, Gwen Stacy and Ultimate Spider-Man don't trust Spider-Man because she thinks Spider-Man killed her dad. Right. So, you know, they just changed it up for the Lizard. But that sets up perfectly because now if they do incorporate Green Goblin in the next movie and he kills Gwen like he is supposed to, then her dad is dead. So it sets up in line. The only downfall I had of this entire film was I think the title should have been changed to Ultimate Spider-Man, because that movie was 98% Ultimate Spider-Man.
Hello?
Yeah, I hear you.
Okay.
So,
right. I think the only reason, I think the only thing that was more like the original 60s comics is the fact that they put in Gwen Stacy instead of Mary Jane.
Yes, that's the only thing different from the Ultimate Spider-Man comics was, you know, they put, in Ultimate Spider-Man, it was Mary Jane that he told a secret to in the early issues, and everything in Ultimate Spider-Man. And Amazing Spider-Man, it was Gwen. So they have that reversed, but I'm glad just not to see fucking Mary Jane, especially after the fucking god-awful fucking, you know, abortion shit that fucking Kirsten Dunst did in the first 3 Spider-Man films. Her acting was horrible. She didn't look anything like Mary Jane.
Yeah.
Fucking Emma Stone as Gwen Stacy. The first scene you see her where she's got like that skirt and those fucking stockings and she's sitting at the table. Dude, I about jizz right there.
Gwen Stacy. You knew she was Gwen Stacy.
She looked like Gwen Stacy. She acted like Gwen Stacy.
Yeah.
They mentioned Norman Osborn like a fucking bajillion times.
Like 5 times. And what I thought was really interesting is that when they mentioned Norman Osborn, is that they mentioned that he's dying.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, really?
I don't know what to go with that one because I don't recall any of that ever happening in either Amazing or Ultimate. So it might be something they're doing originally for the films.
But I think it does sort of give Norman Osborn the reason to, you know, to take the I guess the goblin serum.
Well, if you noticed when that guy took it, he says it's Oz now.
Right.
And that was the name of the serum in Ultimate Spider-Man. They called it the Oz serum. So I mean, it connects into, you know, who do you think it was at the end talking to Kirk?
I don't know, but
did you stay at the end credits for that scene?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I did, and you could barely see his face, you know. But I do have a feeling that maybe it's more Norman Osborn, you know. But I started thinking, no, it probably can't be, because, you know, if he's dying, you know, then he's probably like on his bed or something. So it could be maybe Dr. Octopus or something.
Those were the two people I was thinking of as well.
Yeah. But his voice sounded very much Green Goblin like, sort of going like.
But if you noticed when he had his hat off, he looked kind of elderly, like he was sick. So it could have been Norman. If in fact he was dying, it would have played the part right, you know?
Yeah, plus his voice kind of sounded very Goblin-like. Sort of going like, did you tell the boy about his father?
Yeah. And, I want to get your opinion. What did you think of the overall acting in the film?
Let's see. The best way I can describe it, I think the acting was pretty good, but it wasn't really top notch.
Well, let me ask you this then: if you had a Spider-Man film, who would you take, Tobey Maguire or Andrew Garfield?
To be honest, I would have to say Andrew Garfield.
Andrew Garfield played that fucking part fantastic. When everything he did made you feel bad. I mean, when Uncle Ben died, of course, there were just so many scenes where it was actually sad. Especially the scene with Captain Stacy at the end.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, Andrew Garfield made you believe, he wasn't going down fucking Broadway dancing.
Yeah.
and even in the first Spider-Man movie and the second Spider-Man movie, I just didn't like Tobey Maguire as Peter Parker.
Yeah, maybe at the time, we liked him as Spider-Man, but now that we're a little bit older, we kind of look back and go, yeah, maybe he really wasn't as good as we thought.
Yeah.
But the one thing I really liked is that when he was looking for his killer, when he was looking for his killer, on Uncle Ben, and as when he realizes it's not the guy, he sort of falls through a ceiling and he lands on a wrestling ring.
Yeah.
And it looked exactly like the wrestling ring from the 60s comics.
Yeah. And I'm pretty sure they did that to cut time because, it's a reboot again. They got to tell the origin story. This movie was really long. So they had to cut corners to certain things. So they had him crashing, and then you see the picture on the wall in the wrestling ring. So, that made sense. I didn't have a problem with that one.
Plus, I also think that it's not very relevant today because, I don't think any wrestling matches, just let random people come into the ring, and fight the champion.
Yeah.
So it doesn't really make that much sense. But I like the twist. But I like the change where he's going to a convenience store to get a milk jug, and the cash register was just being a total ass to him. And that's when the thief comes in and he doesn't stop him. And the asshole is like, "Hey, why didn't you stop him?" And Peter's like, that's not my policy.
Yeah. And another thing I wanted to mention was the quote that Uncle Ben told Peter about, your father had a very strong policy that if you had great power, it's your responsibility to use that power.
Did he say with great power?
He never said with great power comes great responsibility. He never said that. In fact...
because I don't remember him saying that.
Now, in the film, he did not say with great power comes great responsibility. But what he did do, Uncle Ben, he almost, word for word, quoted his speech from Ultimate Spider-Man #1. I'm going to read the speech he gave Peter in Ultimate Spider-Man #1. He's talking about his father. Your father had a philosophy that he held pretty strongly, and it's one that served him very well. He believed that if there was things in this world that you had to offer, things that you did well, better than anyone else, things that you could do to help people or made people feel better about themselves. Well, he believed it wasn't just a good idea to do those things. He believed it was your responsibility to do those things. And Uncle Ben in Amazing Spider-Man, the movie, almost said that exact